Now listen, you better help me up this.
All right, let's give it up for our FFA students working the room, assisting, helping and keep order and calm, helping us get on the stage. Thanks for that as well. Good morning. My name is Ashley C. Smith. We have spent the past 2 days together. I'm one of the co-founders of Black Soil KY, and I'm currently serving as the COO, and together with Community Farm Alliance, Tiffany, our staff, volunteers, we have really poured into making this a rich, robust experience. And to echo Tiffany's sentiments, today really is bridging any gaps, connecting with those individuals that you weren't able to meet, connect with in the way that you wanted to over this weekend, continue our conversations and our strategy for our calls to action. What will we do when we leave this place, right? We didn't gather, drive a couple 100 miles in some cases, spent hours sitting, thinking, to just leave and it all go flying out the window. So there will be opportunities for us to continue in dialogue and relationship as we move forward, as the world's reopening and allowing us to be a lot more mobile and flexible in how we're connecting. So here at the Kentucky Black Farmers Conference on the final day, we're very excited to welcome yet another statewide leader. On Friday night, our theme was leadership. We were graced with words from our Commissioner of Agriculture, Dr. Ryan Quarles, our Secretary of Energy and Environment, Ms. Rebecca Goodman, and Saturday, we also had the opportunity to dive into unity and cooperatives. And today is what will we do now? And so we've invited Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, an experienced educator, strategist, to share some remarks and words from her heart as we again are set out on this final day of the Kentucky Black Farmer Conference. So without further ado, would you please join me in welcoming our Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. Would you prefer to use this mic? I can use this one. Okay, sounds great.
Throwing curveballs at the tech guys. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I used to be a coach, and so I used to be able to, project my voice, and I've lost that ability. So thank you all so much, not just for having me here today, but for being here. Ashley, thank you so much for the introduction and for everything that you all do every single day. I want to say not just hello to everyone who's in the room here with us today, but also to all of our farmers and farming friends who are joining us via Zoom. And it's just great to be with you. One of the lessons that I learned as I grew up on a farm and am reminded when I visit farms all across Kentucky is how beautiful the work is, how hard it is, and how important it is. Farming fills the most fundamental need we have as human beings to nourish ourselves and our kids so that they can grow up to be strong and healthy. So thank you to everyone from the Black Soil and the Community Farm Alliance for that important work. I appreciate the work that you continue to put in to make this annual conference grow. Just to hear the mention of Secretary Goodman and Commissioner Quarles being here a couple of days ago shows exactly how impactful this group has been and will continue to be across the state of Kentucky. So the conversations that are happening here are important for the future of Kentucky's agriculture, which is one of our most critical industries. The governor and I believe that we have to do everything we can to celebrate and support our farmers and to make it easier for farmers to earn a living, especially by growing and selling your fruit, vegetables, meat, poultry, and fiber in Kentucky and beyond. And to do that, we have to focus on partnerships, innovation, and diversification of the ag industry. And that is why I'm honored to serve with Trevor Claiborne on the Governor's Agritech Advisory Council. Together, our goal is to make Kentucky the agritech capital of America. and increase the yields and profitability that we have of our over 12 million beautiful acres of land that are devoted solely to farming right here in Kentucky. And we want to see even more of your meat, produce, fiber, and flowers for sale in our restaurants, stores, and farmers markets. And I'm just curious, take an informal poll in the room, but how many of you all are selling your products in farmers markets this year? Yeah, lots of hands going up. Good. That's good to see. I love those farmers markets. I know they bring our communities together, and in some cases, they provide people with better access to fresh fruit and vegetables and help those who aren't lucky enough to have farming families learn that food comes from places other than the grocery store and that it's actually being grown by people right here in Kentucky. So educating our young people about farming and the agritech industry is incredibly important when we talk about broadening the base of agriculture and building a workforce in agriculture, just like we do in every other sector of our economy. So we're working to find ways to encourage and support the next generation of Kentucky's farmers. We've got at least 2 of them right here with us today. So it makes me happy when we see that. Yeah. And to do all of these things, we have to acknowledge that we are at a crossroads where we have a rare opportunity to make some real progress in this area because of the combination of our growing economy and the federal funds that have become available to us. Now is the time to invest in ourselves and in the future of agriculture. And that's why Governor Beshear's budget commits $75 million to establishing an agritech research and development center, not just here in Kentucky, but in Eastern Kentucky, so that we might continue to grow and develop with the intellectual property right here being developed by Kentuckians. He's also using federal abandoned mine land funding to expand the agritech opportunities in our coal countries. He is planning to invest $8.5 billion in highway construction. So why is that important to our farmers? It's going to have lots of benefits in rural Kentucky. One of them is that it's going to make it easier for you to get your products from farm to urban customers more quickly, safely, and efficiently. The Beshear-Coleman administration wants to help you, our Kentucky farmers, succeed. And the governor and I recognize that farming is challenging for every farmer, of course. But Kentucky's Black farmers face challenges beyond droughts, floods, insects, labor shortages, and changing market prices. And that's something else we have to recognize and take action to change. It's just as important to diversify the ag industry and its leadership as it is to diversify the crops we grow in Kentucky's fields. And that's why organizations like Black Soil and gatherings like today are so important for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We appreciate Black Soil's mission to connect Kentuckians, urban and rural, Black and white, with this community's rich agricultural history and heritage, and create opportunities for Black farmers, growers, and producers across the state. Our administration is working to increase food accessibility, to eliminate food deserts, and lower the systemic barriers that have stood for far too long between too many Kentuckians and the healthy, fresh, nourishing food that often is grown just miles away. We appreciate the partners that we have in this work, including Black Soil, as well as Kentucky's HBCU land grant institution, Kentucky State University. Sounds like we might have some graduates in the room, and other collaborators all over the Commonwealth, and one that will advocate for change, for opportunity, and for progress. I know Secretary Goodman was here on Friday, and she talked about the ways that you and your friends and family and customers and community can advocate on your own behalf. And I'd like to second her call and encourage you to serve on agriculture-related boards and commissions. At the same time, engage with your elected representatives at the local, state, and federal levels, because they need to hear you. We need to hear you. Write letters and op-eds in your local newspapers. post messages and images on social media, because your voices and your experiences and your perspectives are important and need to be a part of the ongoing conversation about ag, about food, about the economy, about our society and our future. And now is the time to engage on all fronts. That's because you have an administration in Frankfurt and you have one in Washington, D.C. that have your back. We are eager to support and to promote and invest in our farmers and the future of ag in Kentucky. I know many of you have been away from your farms for a few days and you're probably a little anxious to get back. And so let me leave you with this. Thank you. Thank you for all of the early mornings. Thank you for the long hours, the work that most people don't see. Thank you for your example that you provide for the rest of us about hard work, patience, and resilience. And thank you for everything that you do to nurture the bodies, the spirits, and the communities of this Commonwealth. God bless you, and God bless the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you.
Thank you again. Let's give it up for Lieutenant Governor Coleman. Thank you. And as we continue in our program, if you are nice and full and satisfied, let's give it up for our featured catering company, Aunt Peaches Catering, Ariane Fame team. Thank you, Ariane. We have the chance today to support Kentucky Proud Black-owned farms. So again, Cleves Family Market, Hills of Kindness, Bear Fruit and Grow. And I'm trying to think if there was somewhere else. My brain's fried. Oh, and Mrs. Miller, Miller's Farms. Sorry, thanks. That's why we're having this loose open, so you can shout from the crowd to help me out here. So again, it's so important for us to invest in and develop our Black-owned businesses here across the state, connecting the farm products to our culinary artists, our makers, to see that full circle. So we're gonna turn it back over to Tiffany just to guide us through our next steps. If you need anything else, our FFA volunteers are moving through the room to help clean off your tables so we can keep ourselves organized and ready to go. Again, Tiffany, let's give it up for Tiffany, y'all. You don't understand. You don't understand.
Okay, and give it up for Ashley. Okay. And y'all right, y'all don't understand. Like when I say that, first of all, Ashley and I knew when we planned the meetup last year that we wanted it to be a bit bigger and bigger and bigger. And we had these goals, we wanted to reach so many percentage of the Black farmers, and we just have to keep saying, like last year we had 34 people registered that brought 56 folks in this room. And then this year we had about 98 people registered. 40 of those were virtual. Last year we had 5 people registered virtual. And with those registrations brought about 140 folks over the course of this weekend. So, I said if we could, let's give ourselves a round of applause. That's pretty dope. I told myself, when we used to meet, Martin, we'd meet in teams and he's, what's the goal? And I was like, 80 people. We're just gonna have 80 people, and we kept going to that. And then I called Camille and I was like, yeah, I'm turning it off. Like we are at 80 and I need to make sure we got enough, which we had plenty. And so I turned it off and people were like, well, it's not working online. So I had text messages and emails of just random people like, I'm coming. And the support, and more than just Kentucky here represented, it's some Tennessee folks, some Ohio folks, some Georgia folks. So like I said, when I went to SOG, those were the states, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, the Carolinas. And so the goal is next year just to keep it going, and grow even more. So going into the next part of the conference, I want to ask, that's how loose it is, okay? I want to ask the farmers. Let me see if they're in here. I think people went outside. Hold on. We're gonna have a panel. But I'm now thinking instead of putting them on blast, we can do this from our seats. So unless you guys want to come up, you guys want to come up? So I asked a group of the new people or people who came before to give their highlights about being here last year or this being your first time. What did you love about it? All right. What did you think could improve? Everything that Ashley and I do comes straight from y'all telling us it needs to be done. So I'm going to start with Mr. Mike, Kentucky Greens right here, West Kentucky. Woo woo. Yes, let's clap. We need to clap for each other. Give each other our flowers, okay? This man is doing big stuff in the West. So can you let me know the good things that you love about this conference? And then tell me a little bit what you think did better from this year from last year.
Well, this year we focused a lot more on organization and cooperatives. Like that was the biggest thing. So if you took anything out of this, it's just figuring out how to. If you took anything out of this, it's figuring out how to organize with people that's around you, whether it's your county, outside the county, people like CFA, Grow Appalachia. These are resources that you need to utilize that's going to actually better your business. It's very intimidating to reach out to these people, but ever since I've been independent farming for 4 years now, it hasn't been hard to reach out to people that's in this room. Last year, I mean, it looks like there's more representation as far as FFA being here, and then also women farmers. So.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, I think it was very key for us to see not only our eldership, but the youth and the examples amongst us is amazing. We have Mr. James right here, our next panelist. Same questions and anything else that you would like to add between this year's and last year's.
Okay, well, on Friday, I'll introduce myself. I'm James Lovell Green, son to Vincent and Joanna Lovell Green, who own and I help co-operate Green Landing KY. And so this year, we had to kick off on Friday, and we had Commissioner of Ag, Ryan Quarles, and we had the Chair of the Energy and Environmental Cabinet come, Ms. Rebecca Goodman. And I just don't think they quite understood how much they inspired and encouraged us to want to get into politics as well. I mean, there's more than just being a farmer. When you're a farmer, you're also a leader. And so we have to take the next step and get into politics as well and start changing ag policy if we actually want to see a difference made. So I don't think Mr. Quarles realized that, he inspired his replacement, but I hope to be there someday. So I'd be remiss, today's Sunday, if I didn't give thanks and honor to God, of course. It's raining. We were still able to get here, safely. So give honor to God. The ancestors are crying and looking down on us and showering us with blessings. So we're really, truly doing some great things here, and it wouldn't be possible without Miss Ashley Smith and Miss Tiffany Belfield Elamine. Make sure I say that all correctly for you. And so, there's strength within numbers. Ashley has her mission and her goals and her vision with Black Soil, and Tiffany's doing her thing with Community Farm and her own farm and family. But when they came together, look what they were able to do to bring us all together. And so I just want everyone to understand that there's strength in numbers. There's a lot easier to turn away 1 or 2 people, but it's a lot harder to turn away a horde. So we just have to stay unified and less diversified and less divided and just come together and, be one. I had a long note because God put a lot on my heart. So I just want to make sure that I'm hitting everything. So yes, I thank Ashley and Tiffany. I want to make sure to thank the other partners, supporters, and vendors for, also their contributions in being here. We also have to thank FFA, all the, young folk that have came to several different days. They're over there now congregating and conversating. I hope that they've been inspired and encouraged and understand that, there is vitality, and a future in agriculture and farming. And so I hope that you all choose to stay within agriculture. Last thing I'll hit on, Mr. Embry, Sir Embry, Elder Embry, he was hitting on a lot about cooperatives and coming together. And being in America, we're a capitalistic society, and the root of that word is capital, which we don't.
So that's why we're so hard to get into communism and socialism are bad things. Those words are bringing community, society, social life. So I just think that, if we do want to make a difference, we have to understand that good electric system. And we do have to change our way of operating and our way of thinking. So it's going to take platforms working. Those committees are going to
proposals, we're going to have action. And from action, there will be reaction, both positive and negative. So we don't know what's coming, but just like with farming, you put those seeds in the ground, you look up and you just allow God to do his work. But he's not going to do it alone. We also have to help. So I don't have the scripture, but I'm sure you all know the James scripture about faith without works is dead, as also the body without the spirit is dead, or as it goes. So just remember that. And, we're all here for a reason, and we all have a purpose. We all have skills and talents. And the more we bring it together, the more we're able to do. Amen.
Amen. Yeah. You definitely said a whole mouthful. This year definitely was different from last year, because last year I had a lot of farmers come back to me and they're like, I didn't get to follow through. I didn't get to follow through. And I know that it's going to be up to each other for us to hold each other accountable, right? So I was going to have you guys put back out in regions, but I'm not. That would be one of my things I will have to do when we leave here is make sure that I organize by county. So did everybody do the mapping activity? Everybody raise your hand if you did the mapping activity, the sticky note. Yeah. If you didn't do it, please. It's going to make it easier for me instead of going through everybody's registrations and pulling out counties and cities. Let's see. I want you guys to see this. Let me go get it. Can I get one of the FFA boys to hold this up for me, young men? They're coming. Okay. Oh, so if you, okay, so if you have sticky notes at your table, if not, we'll get someone to bring them to you. And what you're going to put on there is you're going to put your name, farm name, and or organization. You're going to put your city, your county, what you're growing, what you're teaching. Why would somebody want to come to you for something? Because everybody has a different interest and skill. There's some people that are in ag tech. There are people that are in ag business. Put that on there. The idea is that we're building cooperatives, right? And this beautiful map, you see all this? This is where we're at, right? You got a few here. I know there's a couple of you all in here that maybe haven't filled it out yet, but this is us, and that's not even all of us. Look at that. The idea is that by the time we meet next year, y'all are going to come in and sit in your cooperatives, and you're going to know who's sitting next to you because y'all been talking all year. Okay? All year. Okay? And if I have to organize it, I will. Oh, yeah, hold it up. Okay, sorry. And we've already gotten leaders in each region already who've come to me yesterday and said, tell me what I need to do. Davita Flowers was one of them. She's not here today. I know Travis was like, just tell me what you need help with. Let's do it. And we're just going to continue to have that. I really wanted to do something like, there's not a lot here today, but just look forward to the fact that I'm going to be sending emails or text messages. We're going to do by region first. Within your regions, we'll then identify what is the need. Okay? Who's doing what? Because we can have meat in East, meat in Central, meat in West. That's going to look different. Sorry. west, east, and it's gonna look different for everybody. That meat processing over here is gonna maybe look more like chickens, and this may look more like goats, and this may look like, you understand what I'm saying? So amongst our regions, we have to have these breakout conversations, all right? And each cooperative is gonna have a different set of committees, a different set of skill set, because I know that I'm Eastern Kentucky and I don't speak West Kentucky, okay? All right. And I know a lot of East Kentucky don't speak Central Kentucky. And it's not part of division, but it's trying to build infrastructures. So then when we do have our co-ops and different committees, ag policy, right? Ag policy, that policy looks different for wants and needs in West Kentucky versus my home in East. We dealing with a whole different set of issues out here, y'all, okay? And so when we're going, thank you, when we're going, building these committees and organizing, ultimately, we will have to come together as a state, because this is state government, county, city, state, right? And so with these organizing, building this infrastructure over the next year, my goal is when we come back here next year, like I said, we'll be in regions, and we will be able to then say, these are the things that we're getting ready to tackle in 2023. This year is all about organizing infrastructure. We cannot haphazardly do this, y'all. We can't. We've come too far. Okay. Just need y'all to understand that. So another piece. And did everybody do this? We're done. You're okay. All right. Thank you. You can just have that. Give that to the CFA table, please. Thank you. So that's more like a mapping recap. If anybody has farms in different counties, that might be something that I want to address further on as well. No, I won't do that just yet. You have one in Lincoln County too. See, at Rockhouse and Lincoln. I know a lot of farmers have split families, or like they bought their own land in different counties. That'll be a conversation that we're going to work on too, because then it might split your regions. But if you want to be a leader, I don't want somebody like, well, only in West. No, I want us to be statewide and fluid. Yes. Yeah.
I'm on the outside looking in because I'm coming from West Virginia, but I also was hearing a lot about, you guys are working with kids, and that's a great thing. One of the ideas that I had to bring to the table is that you have your leaders in place. So for each co-op that you have a leader, which I'm gonna call a chairperson should have a co-chair, and that co-chair should be one of the kids. Yes. That should be one of the kids. And so that's my suggestion for your group. Okay.
Did everybody hear that? Yes. Yes. According to Mr. Ball and the FFA students, a lot of that they do is build infrastructure. And that's part of their lessons, right? When I have kids come out to the farm, I'm trying to explain to them their leadership, especially like in Central Kentucky, because I know Central Kentucky, they're learning that, who these people are, who is Edith J. Hayes, who is William Wells Brown, knowing their family lineage and knowing that, oh, my family owned the barbershop out Ray Street, or, my grandmother was out Douglas before Douglas was Douglas. And so giving them that ownership and giving them that power early will build the next James, which is going to be the next, Commissioner of Agriculture, okay? Governor of, it is happening. That's how we do it, right? Is there anybody else that wants to, I want to open the floor completely. Like the panel was more like, I'm gonna have you guys answer questions, but because we're such in an intimate space, I would love to see if anybody else has any comments on how we build, how we organize leadership. Is anybody wanted to say, hey, I loved it, yay. Anybody want to share anything at this moment? Anybody? Nobody? You want to share something?
So I'm here with my wife, who is multiracial, but being here, I learned a lot on Friday and Saturday, because I'm not have ever been in farming. This is my first time ever. She's been in it 30 some odd years, her whole life. We have sheep and goats. So being here has opened up enough knowledge to move forward with helping our communities. And so we have meat. So that's going to be a lot of help to schools and things like that. So thank you for all of this, because this has been awesome.
Thank you. The Dawsons emailed me a few months ago, and they're like, we're in Rockcastle County. I was like, Heck yeah, you're in Rockcastle County. And we've just been talking about so many of the things. And, you know, they're working on expanding their farm, getting more land. If anybody's got land that needs somebody to, they're looking for land in East, okay? And now you're part of the village. That's what I call things like this. This is the village. So thank you. I have Miss Ayana with Black Sword wants to say something. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayana Wilson, and I'm a senior at the University of Kentucky studying agriculture. And I'm originally from Clinton, North Carolina. But about 4 years ago, I decided to take that leap of faith and move 7 hours away from home to go to UK. I moved here not knowing anybody, like nobody. So just getting my foot, printed and understanding that like education is what really like means a lot to me, and educating youth about agriculture and making sure that our Black and brown youth understand that like there's a place for them here. I really wanted to talk about how yesterday, we were talking heavily about, racism in agriculture, and I have been impacted by that, just being a student at UK. But one thing that I did not let it do was deter me from my journey within agriculture. And so I think no matter what, we were talking yesterday and just talking about how you can't really let like those oppositions and those people who they see that you have power, our counterparts, they see the knowledge that you have, but unfortunately, because of whatever hate they have for themselves, they're going to try to put that on you and stop you from going along on your journey. And that's what happened to me. But I think that God has a plan for them and God has a plan for me. So I'm going to go on my journey. I don't know about them. But most of all, I want you all to know that I am impacted, I am inspired, and I'm going to continue to lead. I'm going to continue to educate. And I am beyond thankful for Ashley for allowing me to have this internship with Black Soil to continue to grow my knowledge about the industry. And I hope that Kentucky Black Farmers Conference can become a national thing. I hope that Black farmers and Black women and Black men who are in agriculture in North Carolina and Florida and Texas can come to Kentucky to see like the power that has been restored here. I remember learning about Cheapside Market downtown at the Families Market, like my freshman and sophomore year, and learning about the history of that whole, center. And I was mad, but I learned that it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be angry as long as you're willing to do something about it and go ahead and grab the next generation, such as FFA, such as Junior Manners, and Manners to, continue to sow the seed. So overall, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here today and allowing me to be inspired and impacted by you all.
Thank you so much, Ayana. Ayana is part of the team. She has worked very hard to help keep us organized and was at every minute, like, listen, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Oh, I was trying, you were pointing to her. First of all, Ayana, Amber, stand up. Just stand up, okay? Y'all give these two women a round of applause because they kept Ashley and I level-headed, helped organize meetings, talk to farmers. This beautiful program Amber did, and I'm telling y'all, they really, it was us for real. So thank you so very much. Yes. All right. Was there anyone else that wants to say a little sentiment, anything? Literally or figuratively? Yes, ma'am. What's the next steps? She asked, and I have been asked a lot, what are the next steps, right? Because I can sit here and tell y'all all day, I'm gonna put an email together, but what's that? So next steps, and I'm gonna ask y'all the same question. I'm gonna tell you what my answer to that is. Next steps is I'm gonna give a time and a date, okay? We've got farmers who've already given their farms. We got organizations that's already given space. So we have a place. We now have to put a time to that space. And we're going to have to then meet and then explain ourselves, what do we want as committees? Some people know they want the young farmer mentorship. We did the sign-ins for that. That will be split between regions. We know that we have ag policy in a couple of regions and really breaking that down. Now it's accountability because I know I'm gonna be there, whether I'm gonna get paid for it or not. I know I'm gonna be there, right? But are you guys gonna show up like y'all showed up here? You know, that's the biggest thing. Everything that has happened, everything we talked about, all the work, Cousin Jim shows up. Kenya shows up. We have to show up. We can't just keep talking about it. And that to me is the next steps. So if I know a couple of farmers, like, you know, I kind of picked on the Blue Brothers, but, you know, I've been asking them to come. You guys have been doing good work. You guys are KSU farmers. Like, I need you guys to show up, you know? And then they showed up yesterday, and then he was able to have conversations, but I knew him personally. You feel me? So if you know somebody and y'all are talking amongst each other, which is why I split y'all in regional groups. So you can be like, oh, you're just over in county over. It's up to y'all to be like, hey, I talked to you guys at the conference. I like to come to your farm. I like to hang out. I like to know more about you personally. So then we can continue to build with one another and build those relationships. I can't make that happen. 100 people here. I'm banking on a good 45, 50% of those people that are actually going to show up. And I'm just keeping it real. And it's disheartening, but I know that those solid people are going to show up and start those conversations. And those conversations are going to have to look like who's our leaders and who's our resources. Just like Davita stood up and she's like, if anybody in the state needs help with web page and design, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all now know that I'm Tiffany and I'm CFA, but y'all know I'm a farmer. I told my story. Y'all know who I'm connected with. If y'all want a farm to school opportunity, I can help with that. But you have to ask. And that's something else that we don't do. We're doing more now is asking each other. You know, I asked my cousin, like, do you got a farmer? I mean, you got a tractor? Can I holler at your tractor? You know what I'm saying? Tatum, his uncles came out. I gave them some money. They came from Clark County and plowed my field. That's part of building natural cooperatives. Doesn't have to be that hard. When we get into bylaws and all the things that, you know, Dr. Dawson has done and has solidified, we will get to that point. Meat processing facilities, we'll get to that point, but we have to actually sit down and organize and talk to one another and see who's doing what, where, and then put the glue behind that. Does anybody else have an answer to that? Why? How do you feel like you can help build those cooperatives?
I have a few thoughts. I've been organizing things for a long time. Some that still exist and some that don't. I've learned a few lessons. But I'll begin by saying that one of the things that's been a blessing out of COVID is that we have learned how to communicate, how to organize, how to present virtually and do it effectively and do it in a way where it's fun, it's creative, and it captures your attention. Okay? That's been a real blessing. That we all probably use it even now quite a bit. I think that the answer about how do we organize lies within what app are we wanting to use that can do that. I mentioned yesterday, I got involved just last March in this Jama Cooperative Seed Initiative. Everything was done online, okay? And we had folk who were joining in with us who were from across the US, Caribbean, and Africa, okay? And we were doing back then monthly calls, but now that we've gotten the seed initiative off the ground, we're doing them almost every 2 weeks. Everybody can't show every time, but it's all done virtually. We did bylaws, we did working groups, we've done a lot of things in organizing that. I go a lot of conferences. I mentioned this to the organizers here. There's some really good conference platforms already out there. You pay some money, you know. And where's Martin at? Okay, I was gonna pull his coattail saying, hey, find some money, find a grant, okay, to do this. Where you have a conference program or an app that you, like you register, you register, you put your profile in there if you want to, a picture, where your location is, email, what your skills are, what your needs, it's all in there. It's in there pre-conference. And you can meet people before you even go to the conference. Then you can do things right real time. If I'm speaking and you say, man, get off the stage, you ain't saying nothing, you can comment in there, okay? It's real time, I'm saying it's real time. And then when it comes to organizing by region, you already have it in the app. You already know you're from this county and that region. It's already in there. You just make it, you just search it and create it. You already have interest groups. So I would say that, you know, by this time, when we meet again, let's make a selection of what conference app, because the conference app that I joined up in Dayton, we're still using it. We're still communicating. We're asking questions, we're getting answers, we're organizing teams. It's all done at that platform, and it's much easier to use because it doesn't require me getting your card or your phone number. I mean, it's all fine, it's all great, but it's already in the app. It's already there. So I would just suggest to the planning team, spend some time evaluating which app might be most suitable for what we're doing. Let's get it, let's pay for it, and then let's send it out for people to insert the information that can then, the working groups that get formed on the app shows all of them. I might not be in your working group, but if you post when it's going to be meeting, I say, okay, well, I might sit in on that app. So that's one thought about how we go about the idea of organizing.
That was a good addition. So you're right, an easy way for us to all communicate throughout the year. I like working groups over committees. I think committees sound a little, you know, but I also, so everything I usually do is online because I'm a Google fanatic, like Google Doc everything, right? And what I found out about technology, we had fun with that yesterday, is that the majority of us will get on the app, right? It is going to be up to us. Accountability is so big for this to work, y'all, okay? Accountability is to know that some of our elders are not going to get on that app, probably don't even have a computer for that. It does not stop us from organizing and getting the meat and potatoes put together, but it's up to us to be like, you know, elder whoop de whoop whoop. I ain't gonna tell nobody's names because we all young. But our elders and letting them know, hey, we're gonna meet today, organizing a way to meet with them so they can get the material, letting them know that things are happening. Our young people as well, right? Yes.
And then what you do, and we have elders, absolutely. Then what I do, I go over to the elder's house and sit with her and him. Okay, with my computer, my laptop, and say, hey, sister girl, brother, you know, brother man, like, hey, we online here, you know, whatever, and we want you in here with us. Okay, you do things like that. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm saying you don't have to dismiss the technology. You just have to be present with the folk who don't, and we know people don't have it. We understand that. Okay, but let's get going on.
No, yes, thank you, cousin Jim. So how do you all feel about that, having a conference app? Like right now we're on Facebook. I have the Kentucky Black Farmers Meetup. Is anybody that's on Facebook, raise your hand. Facebook. Okay, now keep them up. Put your hand down if you're on the Black Farmer Meetup group on Facebook. Put your hand down. Wally, put your hand down. Cousin Jim he shares all the time. Put your hand down. Okay, so it is up to us to also show up. I posted it. I talked about it last year and I still saw people who didn't add themselves to it. So add yourself. It's a group, you know, it's where Black farmers have been. Yes. Yes, you should. No, yes, you should definitely. So yes, the question of farmer grower, if you are a consumer at this point, you could be in the group, okay? Because we're all part of what? The food chain system. So it's not just for growers and it's not just for farmers, okay?
So I have a question. What if we have consumers or producers who don't have Facebook and aren't on like social platforms?
Yes, yes. So that is great. And that's why I had you guys do 1,000 sign up sheets, because your best contact is what you told me. So if it's your phone, the app can go to your phone, and communication could be text message. I text a lot of people trying to organize. They never had Facebook and then they never used their email. So I had to text them. But that's going to be part of the organizing, because what I did was great, right? But to do that all the time, there's going to have to be these working groups and somebody saying, I'm going to text everybody the date. You got the emails. I'm going to throw it in the group chat, and then somebody to follow up with that communication. And if somebody says I can't be there or I didn't get the app, partner and people, it's the same thing with peer-to-peer mentorship. Yes.
I just, from a marketing standpoint, I strongly agree with what Jim is saying. I per se am on Facebook, but don't really care to be, and think every other day about just leaving that place. Besides that, we can't depend on this outlet that would possibly fail and has in the past. So you could lose like all of your, I mean, anybody doing marketing or business on Instagram, social media, that's almost one of the worst places as far as like being able to hold your customer or your client. It's nice, people are on it, but if that system goes, you've lost everybody. And believe me, they will go. One day they will. Nobody's too big to fail. And so having either a website or, I mean, I'm not suggesting that Ashley use Black Soil's website, but a website that has the producers, you know, like for my herd share, for instance, I have a owner's page. It's hidden. It's only a login for my owners. So all my herd share owners know who they're connected to. They know what those other 35 people do for a living or what they could offer them. It's a community. And so if we create something like that within a website or within a conference page, like he's saying, then you have your own page, your own Facebook page or whatever, you know, like our producers pages. And so here's my farm, and if you go to this person, there's their farm, and that person can put whatever they want inside their profile. There's all kinds of ways to do that for us to stay connected, and I'd be willing to help with that because I love that kind of stuff.
Thank you, Kenya. Yes. So I'm glad you said that, because it brings me to our efforts that we are doing with CFA. So in the past year, Chris Coomer has become a big part of our communications and our social media posting, et cetera, et cetera. And I told everybody for years that CFA's webpage looks super white. And so as we were doing all these things, I was just like, you know, people shouldn't have to dig for me or the work we're doing with equity. It should be right there, which rolled into the toolkit and rolled into a lot of other things. So if you go to CFA's webpage, there are links. We are going to have a landing just for the Kentucky Black Farmers Conference with the toolkit resources. What we ultimately want to have is to have a Black Farmers directory. Now, I need to say this, Black farmer work is because I'm Black and I know how to speak to that community, and we're less than, you know, all the things, right? But this is going to grow into more than just Black farmers, African-American farmers. It's going to grow into other minorities and other pockets that need to be, you know, veterans specifically, not by color or adjectives, but veterans, are disabled and handicapped, Latinx, and so on and so forth. And that would grow, and that directory would grow. So, yeah. And the thing is that we could build a web page though, and then landing page, like they can go to CFA, they click it, and then we just have just a page. Yes.
And another thing with that is, how many of you in here are members of CFA? Yes.
Okay. No, listen, something that y'all don't know, and that is a fail on my part. I'm so sorry. Everybody who went through the Kentucky Black Farmer Fund, okay, you guys are members of CFA. We registered you as members of CFA. So that is another working group. We've talked about that. Kimmy, raise your hand. Hey, we talked about with ag policy, making sure that our Black farmer members are going to understand what it means to be members. There was so much that was going on. Lori and I were kicking out resources and all types of stuff. So we were doing so much follow up. She's gonna know. I'm gonna let her talk about it. But I just want to let y'all know that y'all are all members, and I'll be sending cards out this year. Thank you.
I mean, we have to think about, like, look at the two organizations that created this for us. And here we have Black Soil, which we all should be member farmers for Black Soil. We all should be members of CFA. We all should be, you know, helping to push people into membership into these organizations and explain who they are, what they're doing, and talk about it. Don't just, you know, talk about it, but also be about it. So we need to really stand up for what we're doing here and put your foot down on the pedal and your money where your mouth is. Let's do it.
And you know, and the money where your mouth is, like, sometimes it's co-ops are ultimately paying dues, right? And just like a family reunion or anything, a church association, any type of board, you're paying your dues. Yeah, and that's part of the building the bylaws. How much do we need? What is our big goal to having a chicken and beef meat processing? What is the goal to have a distribution chain selling to low income neighborhoods coming straight from our farm, right? Because that is a goal that we've been talking about. Right. And it's like when you're building these co-ops, like I said, everybody's going to have a different place, right? And the money is your time. Like you might have to take off work to do this, right? You might have to take time, and that is your money. But understanding that you're investing 4 hours of a day, maybe, that could make a difference of another 365. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really have to think about it. No different when you have all these seeds, you know how much it's going to yield. And even if some of the crop go bad, you know that you got to figure it's the same idea. So yes, investing yourself. A lot of this stuff is just giving you time. Anybody else that wants to say anything? I'm liking this conversation, but I'm not going to push it. Anybody else? All right. I was really hoping you was gonna say something, Crystal. You want me to enter? Let me tell y'all, yes, come on. This is Crystal Merrill and her husband, Bossum Lamb in Clark County. And listen, have been doing it, have a beautiful family. I was lucky to be with her during her pregnancy. I was her doula. And so I told her, I was like, I'm gonna connect you to these Black farmers because I know y'all are dedicated and they've been getting it. Yes. All right.
First of all, I just want to say I am truly grateful to be here. I want to thank Black Soil, CFA. I want to thank Tiffany and to anyone else who has sponsored this event to allow for me and my husband to be a part of this. This is my second year. We are beginner farmers, and I am so intimidated. So intimidated, but being here and seeing what everyone is doing in this whole organization and how we're coming together as a group, it is so inspirational to me. It keeps me motivated. And I'm glad my husband is able to be here to be a part of this. I'm more of a social butterfly. My husband is not. So I'm kind of like the network branch. I'm kind of going out and I'm getting the resources. I'm networking with the people. I will. Yes, that's right. He's my muscle. I'm the organizer. I can put the seed in the ground. He's my muscle. I can get the growth going. He's my muscle. But the hardest thing for us as beginners is resources. It is so hard to get the farm off the ground without resources. So that's why I'm so grateful to be here, because I have met some great people already. I will say that there does need to be a more formal, standardized platform for people, especially us, because if we have that and we can network with more people, the better resources we will have access to, because we are struggling. And it's sometimes hard to get help from your neighbor, even though they may have a tractor, even though they may have equipment. We don't have that because we don't have the financing, we don't have the resources. So I've been trying to learn through you all and through these types of coming together, these communities and these settings, what can I do to still be successful without finance, without resources, you know? So that's kind of why I'm grateful to be here, because I've already learned a lot. I'm going to be a Martin Gardner with Seed Leaf this year. I'm super excited. Super excited. You know, not only are they giving me the space to grow, but I'm also going to be able to take those skills and transfer those skills to our farm, you know, because I'm learning. I'm a city girl. I had no idea that I was going to get into growing. So our biggest focus is to grow fruits and veggies. That's what we desire to do, to be able to produce food for our family and for other families alike. So that's kind of why I'm here. This is important to me. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this. I'm very humble to be here. So humble to be here. You know, and I'm hoping that by keep coming, that I can hopefully build a relationship with some of you all, because we need it. We need it, you know, and I'll be the first. I'm going to humble myself and say it has not been easy. This is our second year on our farm, you know, and we want to make it successful. We don't want to fail. You know, this is one of the scariest things that I've ever done in my life, is to step out on faith, step into a world, into a culture that is ancestral. I know it's in my roots. I know it's in my blood, but to actually step out there and not have a clue what you're doing. I'm going into this thing blindsided, just like I'm sure a lot of you all have. But I'm here to tell you, I'm asking for help. And I hope that just from being here, even though I haven't been able to be here every single hour of this event, and I wish that I could have, I was so sad when I seen all the great talks and all the great people that I missed. But I returned today in hopes that I can still make maybe a few more connections with a few of you all. Even if I can't keep up with every single person in this room, just a couple of more people, just to help us on this journey, because it is a journey. It is a journey, and I'm here to win. I want to win. I want to be successful. I want my family to have a legacy. I want to help build communities and help feed families. That's what we have to do. And I know that a lot of things that I've heard, partnership, organization, you know, communication, portals, opportunities, all of that. That's everything that I'm hearing. And I'm so inspired and motivated. I'm ready to go. So I'm so grateful to be here, and that's all I needed to say. Thank you.
Yes, you know, and Crystal reminded me while she was talking. Yes, okay.
We have a tractor.
And listen, like, we'll get Wally bring it down there, okay? They ain't even gotta come off their farm. You know he will.
I just wanted to say, after listening to Crystal, that so many of you ones who have been around for years, don't underestimate just the example you set, just that one piece of advice. I come from a long family of farmers. A lot of you know my family, the Jenkins family out in Georgetown. They've been around Good Foods Co-op for 1,000 years. Unfortunately, my grandparents have both passed off the scene, and there's 168 acres out there going to nothing. There's no one to take care of it. So just seeing ones like Crystal who are willing to take care of that, it gives me hope. I'm hoping that we can keep the family farm, somehow keep it going. We just need willing bodies. It was a slave farm. My great grandparents got it. It's an amazing farm. My grandfather raised 9 children and all of us grandchildren on it. But it's encouraging to me to hear some of the young people, the FFA people, ones like Crystal and her family, who are willing to move in and learn how to do it. I've been around it all my life, but I had to leave it for a while so I could make a living for myself. And now my husband and I are trying to get involved in it, but it's so overwhelming because it's been let go for so long. We don't have the resources to keep it going. But ones like Edwin and Martin and other ones who have been around my family, they know my grandfather busted his tail to keep that farm going. So don't give up, Crystal. There's other people out there like you. And the ones of you who are setting an example and fighting for feeding America, regardless whether you're black, white, or green, keep going. We will get there because there are some of us young people who want to do it. We just need the encouragement, we need resources, and I think we've picked up a lot. And I've taken to my family out in Georgetown, I've taken to my family in Stanford, and even my husband and I having our little sheep and goat farm. Keep going. You can do it. Do not give up.
Yes. We got to keep going. I think the biggest part of our culture is that we're resilient. Yes. We got Miss Shamika Brooks, Patterson County new farmer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shamika Brooks with Blessed Hands Family Farm and More. To my girl, Crystal, I'm in Madison County. Girl, you think you scared? Okay, y'all ain't seen me. I'm doing this with me and my daughter. I am a new farmer. Tiffany, kudos to Tiffany. Kudos to Ashley. Where are you, Ashley? Wherever she is, kudos to you guys. I am so humbled. I'm definitely grateful to be here. The conference, it's been amazing. It really feels good to be in a room full of people who look like me, who are willing to reach out and say, hey, I have a tractor. The Blues said, the Blues brothers, I have a tractor. Don't worry about it. I come down. I till up your land for you. That's not a problem. Wally, Tiffany's husband, don't worry about it, girl. We got you. We're just right around the corner from you. I have a cousin, Tony. He said, oh, I need to get rid of some of these chickens. You can have a couple of my chickens for your coop. But just to be in a room full of people that is filled with knowledge, Elder Embry, wherever he is, full of knowledge, and people that is just willing to share that for free. All you have to want to do, you just have to take advantage of it. Hey, I want to learn. I want to be a part of it. Of course, I want to grow. I want to be successful. I don't want to just leave a legacy. I want to live my legacy. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mr. Coles.
My name is Jeff Coles, and I am the director of Thelma's Garden Education Academy. And I'm a retired teacher. I work with the Kentucky Department of Education and retired from there. I come to bridge this generation of agriculture and farmers to the next generation. And it's a challenge. And it's a challenge because the community, and I think community is very important, needs to be a more cohesive community so that the young people, when we reach down and out to them, can see a cohesive community to look back toward. I really resonated with the lady who talked about the step of faith, because the step of faith is the bedrock of our culture. Everything that we've had to encounter was a step of faith. And the thing that made the faith be effective is that there was a community of faith that was able to support each individual's step of faith. So when you talk about borrowing the tractor or getting some eggs or whatever, we could always count on the community of faith to support our individual steps of faith. Now, our challenge as an education facility, and I am proud to say that I haven't, I am an education facility that is in support of agriculture. Because many education facilities are saying walk away from that and go to the university and be something else, engineers, what have you. My point is this: each of us, including our education facility, have taken a step of faith. And we need the support the small farmers, the urban farmers, we have an urban farm, need the community to support that staff. And when you hear Brother Embry talking about the app, well, maybe the app is a way of us communicating with each other so that we can support. When we talk about Sister Tiffany and the Black Soil efforts, maybe that is the community that we need to depend on. But my point is, don't neglect to be an integral part of that community and be willing to support when we see the need. Maybe there's something we may not be able to do individually, but a cohort of us or a cooperative of us could support in additional ways. My heart goes out to you because I know that faith staff. My heart goes out to you because I know that faith staff. So what I hear is, okay, community, what can we do to support her? Okay, community, what can we do to support her? Not just clap when she said it's hard, because we know it's hard, but what can we do to make it less hard for her or for her? And so as an educator, I do that with the young people because the young people are going to be the community. That's when I go sit down in somebody's home that has, you have to wear a mask to come in to see, that's going to be the community that I'm going to depend on for support. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, okay, conversation. Okay, hold on. I got a couple of things I want to say real quick, okay? And then I'm like, because I've got to write down notes, y'all. My brain is like, when I heard a lot of people, we hear not only cooperative communication, we hear support. What does that support look like? As you all are raising your hands, you guys to answer this question. If you guys want to answer that question after these two people speak, then yes, but support for me, right? He's right. When Crystal told me that she was moving after she had the baby and she told me what she needed, I tried my hardest. First person I connected it to was I reached out to Tatum, and then Wally and her husband had a conversation, and they knew that they had to get their, what they wanted to do. But I reached out to my village as much as I could, right? And then when Cuz said that she just got into this land, I was like, shoot, what do I got to do? Same thing with Jeff Coles. Jeff was working on his urban gardening project. I didn't have all the answers, but I reached out to my village and got him support, and he got his farm service number, right? When you know stuff, you have to give it. And that's the biggest support, is sharing resources. So Crystal works at a hospital. She sent me an email and said, Tiffany, they want, at first it was a lot, but they want 200 boxes of teas. I said, oh Lord. But yes, sorry. Yeah, okay. So all I'm saying is that we are all have duality in where we're at, right? Like, you work for somewhere, you support different places. You have to keep your ears open to opportunity. Just like with CFA, I wanted everything to be farmer led because I knew that there would be an incentive for my farmers. It was up to me to help make that decision. It was sitting in some paperwork, but we knew that I was supposed to be able to connect people, and that's what I did. And we all have that responsibility as support. If you want to put together a farmer's market, you want to put together an event, reach out to the people that need to be there, and not just the people that you're used to seeing there. I've pulled out a lot of different people that I hadn't even met yet, because I knew that I had that resource to share, right? And also, like Susan reached out to me and told me she's putting a hot tunnel up. I asked her, can we bring a group out? Those experiences, right? When I'm getting ready to work in the hot tunnel, I got 3 students, including Scholar Brown. They're going to come out there and help me. Did I call the school? No, I didn't ask anybody. I just know their moms. And I said, let them come out to the country. And that is the building block for that. Now I'm hoping and I'm praying that it's going to go into me going into the school, but I didn't ask that. I just knew that I can bring a group of people out to show them how I work in my high tunnel, period. Same thing with Cousin Jim. He brings people out all the time to watch how he does permaculture, how he does his beds. It's not super organized, but it's enough that I have a group of people and I know they want to see it. And they're going to come and learn how to do. And it's just, that's part of how you support and build community. And I just wanted to share those 2 things. All right. So, Sister Ken, you wanted to speak? And then this young lady.
Just real quick, I wanted to I was just going to tell you personally, but I think I'll just say it to everyone because somebody else might need to hear it. But you have obviously had a baby. She's been your doula, and you're a doula, so you understand the stages of labor, don't you? How many stages are in labor, Tiff? Thank you. But the books in the medical field will tell you there's 3. And when you get into that second stage, you should have been doing this, 2 years, 3 years, and you start feeling that burn inside of you, just like when you're just about ready to push, going into the 3rd stage, and you feel that ring, that burn, and they tell you, push through the burn, push through the burn. And you gotta push that baby out. And on that 3rd year, usually is when you're about to go under. Your water bills more than you can pay from watering them cows, and everything is so high and hard. But you're about to have a baby. You are about to have a baby. Do you understand? You are about to have a baby. You're gonna raise that baby. And we all gonna be here as a community. And that brings us to community. Where are our men in our community? We are all women here, mostly talking. But we need to bring our men forward for our community. We got to get this right if we're going to do it. Not saying y'all aren't here, because brother, you're here and I see you. You're here. But we need to bring our men forward, our Black men, and allow them their position. Because until we get that right, we have to get our structure right to make this work, all of us. And so I just want to say, when that baby comes, and you actually are in it and you know what you're doing, it's going to just be wonderful. And thank God you've got people around you. But I went through my first 2 years with my family telling me, you can't do this. Are you crazy? You're going to stop and you're going to be too tired. You guys will be done with this in 2 years. So just be encouraged, sis, and all of you be encouraged. But I just felt that heavy on my heart, and I'm not saying nothing else for the rest of the day.
So my name's Cabrenda, and I am on the journey to land ownership. And on the first night, we had Queen Mother Miller here, who is the know-all of vegetables and fruit and gardening. And one word that she said is, when you put your seed in the ground, after you plant, you have to look up to the Lord and say, God, it's in your hands now, because it's not up to you, it's up to him. So just know that you're giving it all you got. Put your faith in the Lord, what you've done, and you will be successful because you're having a baby.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The metaphors is definitely real. Listen, because sometimes I think we having labor with twins over at Blue Estates, honey. But it definitely it's definitely real, because I tell you what, I know y'all heard my story last night, right? And it got to the point where I was like, what in the heck am I doing? And I was making money by people coming out to the farm because of the history lessons, right? But I wasn't growing anything yet. And when we made the herb garden and they had the women's retreat and they tasted the teas and they're like, you should sell this stuff. I was at the point of, I was probably about 5 to 7 centimeters dilated. It was hurting. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then Black Soil gave me a little push, held my legs. And that baby came out, y'all. And I tell you what, so many people held that baby and is holding that baby and helping me nurture this baby. And it is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So yes, everyone that has this idea of keep pushing, please keep pushing. Thank you all for all this conversation. Shout out to the AV in the back. Can we get a clap of hands? Because let me tell y'all, he has been working hard, and everything that we have will be able to share. We'll be able to share, amongst each other, look back, use it as material when we have these cooperative meetings, so I can hold y'all accountable. Be like, you said that you was gonna, I got you on camera. You wanna say something? Yes. So shout out to Tiff being a doula. And this is what the village is about, okay? My mama show up my mama show up. This is one of my mamas and one of my beautiful babies. Yes, we got the babies in the house, and I'm so glad that you support me. And you want to have?
I do. So I am here because I am a new student to be come the summer of this year. I am studying ag via transportation and logistics. And so I'm very happy to be here and meet all of you. I too wasn't at every hour of every day of every event, but I told Tiff I'm gonna come to what I can and I'm gonna grab what I can grab. My background is in the beauty industry, and I've been a part of that career for almost 22 years now. And I retired and had my baby, and I'm momming full time, and I'm really enjoying that. And I come from a legacy of farmers on both sides of my family. And I had an opportunity to see what the land and losing the land and having those lives is really what is tied to the land. It's life. Be sold away after generations of not, people not wanting to or knowing how to preserve and all of that. And so this is a life that really speaks to me and speaks to where I come from. But to tie in, one of the things that I learned from my previous career in terms of recruitment, and I heard Mr. Coles speaking about having education and having a bridge between the older community and the newer community. And I think that we have definitely a really good opportunity as far as new people that are interested in agriculture and interested in farming from a recruitment perspective. I don't know in terms of I can't keep the basil alive in my house, but I want to learn. And I think that when you have people who have an empty cup that is looking for it to be filled, that's a way that you build a quicker bridge or put more bricks together towards bringing them out, engaging those new minds and those new hands, introducing them to your farms and your community, maybe doing school visits and different things like that, finding out what new who's enrolling in this industry in our area and connecting with them in that way to maybe bring hands together. And I just want to say, we're here looking to learn and to become a part and to grow with you. So your future is bright, and don't be discouraged from that standpoint.
Thank you. Thank you. You gotta give me my necklace back. You gotta give me my neck. You gotta give me my neck. I have to echo what CJ said. Was there are I have a lot of young women at K-State who have reached out to me. One of them were here last night. A lot of them are were part of the Manners program. So you saw Manners, Junior Manners, along with FFA here, and they literally are like, "Give me something to do. I need something to do. What y'all got going? I need something to do." And so, yes, you're right. It's like we're not necessarily wanting, but we need to be creating these organic folk. Like, well, you're my kid and you're going to farm. That's one way. But when you have young people who are saying, I'm going to farm, I'm going to be in ag science, I'm going to be in ag tech, I want to be an engineer, they aren't, you're not making them do it. They are already wanting it. The want is there, and it is very bright, and it's up to us to continue to make the connections, right? So it's almost 2:00. This conversation's been going on for 2 hours. Thank you. I am going to leave you all with a quote, and I want we have the room for a while, so continue the conversations, continue to ask the things. Yes. Oh, no. It's okay.
A lot of you all have been very inspiring, and there's a lot of things running through my head right now, and I don't know that I have a particular train of thought other than talked about community. talked about this community, talked about building leadership. And I think it was Ashley was talking about, we're in a moment, right? And it's time to really step up to that moment. And I want to say there's a lot of folks that look like me that want to support this moment. And including a bunch of our sponsors, right? There's a bunch of sponsors for this conference who want to step up, want to help, and they don't know how. And it is part of our responsibility to give them a way to support the work. What happens when the work gets supported? I think it's really, you know, I've known Casa for a long time. She's been part of CFA for, I don't want to give away the years, Casa, but a long time. But, you know, I don't know, part of this leadership conversation is what does that look like? And James, I appreciate what you were saying. You know, Casa's sister just got elected to the House of Representatives in Kentucky. That is part of the leadership development that is sorely needed. And what is one of the one bills? I mean, she hit the ground running. And she introduced House Bill 737. Has I got that right, Kimmy? That is an attempt to start building out extension support for urban agriculture. You know, we know that urban agriculture is a stepping stone, right? Hopefully it's a stepping stone to, you know, bigger and better things, because our rural communities really need folks out there. And then in this conversation here today, this weekend reminded me of Reggie Thomas has got a bill on heirs property too. You know, and I'll be honest with you, it's not something that I think about, right? Because of who I am, but you all are helping bring this stuff awareness to me. And we had put that bill and Katura's bill on a list to run in front of our board this week. But that's where we need you and we need your leadership within the organization to lift this stuff up and then to be a force in Frankfurt or Washington. So I'm not pitching for you to join CFA. But, you know, it is organizations like CFA that are working on the policy stuff that is going to benefit not only you, but your neighbor and the folks over in the next county. Thanks, Tiff.
I was gonna say, when I first started at CFA, all I'd seen was groups of farmers, along with our staff, going to Frankfurt to lobby. And Kimmy saying, we're getting back into that, and we're going to be forming those working groups. And that's where I'm telling y'all, like, and we have funding and grants and sponsors that can help pay to get us down there to lobby, to get us to places to sit down and counsel. So if it ever is an issue of that, we'll figure that part out, organize ourselves.
But you don't have to be in Frankfurt to talk to your legislator. They're local. They live in your county. Sorry, he told me to stand up. Yeah, you don't have to be in Frankfurt to talk to your legislator. There's a hotline, you can leave a message and they get the messages. They have email addresses and they have offices in their home counties. So your county council folks, it doesn't necessarily have to be the folks in Frankfurt. Everybody has an extension agent. They have to see us. And who cares if they make us feel uncomfortable? We're making them feel uncomfortable by kicking in their doors. But we have to show up. We have to be seen so that when it's time for the legislation to be offered, we get a cut. We don't get a cut if they don't see us, if they don't know us. So yes, you don't even have to have an agenda. Just call them and set up a meeting. So then when you're ready to make an ask, you've already given them something, you already fed them. So.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. CASA is who I talk to break down legislation and policy, because like myself, I know some people, we don't really understand what our voice does. I just started voting 2 years ago. And I'm just saying this because I didn't understand how important my voice is. I didn't understand how bills were working and how bills were being placed into office. And that's going to be something else. That Ag Policy Working Group, it's not going to be just for us to be like, this is what you do. This is how you understand what's happening. And then you figure out, and we figure out how you then get your voice out there and make the change. Yes. All right. So we are going to have, Cousin Jim, a quick commercial break, and I'm gonna let him speak for just a second.
2 seconds. We're at meetings often, and I hear white folks say, well, should we be here? And we're trying to figure out what to do to support what you're doing. And I'll tell them all one thing, mostly. Go back and read about John Fee, okay? Here's a white guy in Kentucky, in what we now call Berea, in 1855, not 2022. He figured it out. So if you're trying to figure it out about what you should be doing, go read his life and legacy. And you understand how, here's a white guy who was following his Christian faith and said, black folk ain't human? Well, that's crazy. I'm gonna have a school, 1855, that admitted poor white men and poor white women, and also poor black men and women, okay? And the school's foundation was agriculture. So I hope you all who are here that are asking the question, go read his life and you'll understand how you're right in the thick of it. You ain't gotta figure it out so much. I'm saying read his legacy and you'll understand what to do clearly. Now here's the commercial I wanna do real quickly. I made reference to this book yesterday a few times about an essay in this book I said that I wrote. I've been promoting it since last April. I've been carrying it around wherever I go. And I get more white people that call me, that invite me to speak, talking about the black family of ours in Madison County and in Kentucky. I hope one day, and I did this weekend, that I will get some other folk who say, well, hey, come in. But this is not just my essay. I was led to write it by ancestors, but it's our essay. While it's centered in Madison County, it's telling the whole story of Kentucky. Homework assignment. Made my essay is available on several websites. You can download it for free. But on the image of the book are two sisters, Leah and Naima Penniman. She wrote this book. This icon, anybody here know about what's called Rosie the Riveter? The woman during World War II who was the icon of women in the industrial plant. It became the symbol of womanhood in World War II and women going into the workplace. It was iconic. I'm saying that this image of black women holding hoes ought to be the icon of this century. Doesn't just mean black women, it means black women, black men, white women, Asian, it means everybody globally ought to find some way to connect to the land, okay? The sacredness of the land is what this image is about. Humans as a species, we've been disconnected. We think we know it all. We think we're superior. We're polluting the water. We're polluting the air. I'm saying, so understand this book's symbolism. The title comes from a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks, written about her beloved elder, Paul Robeson. I'm saying, while we're digging in the dirt, I do things on my farm with my bees, but we need to have a much larger perspective. Get this book and have it with you when you go to a conference and say, hey, this is a new book came out in April. The book is also going to become a part of a film documentary that maybe Oprah Winfrey, because the author of this book is Natalie Mazzille, who also wrote Queen Sugar. It was her first book. Oprah loved it. It's now a TV series. This book is already scheduled come next year to go into some type of a film documentary process. And the film might have in there the story about Madison County. Anyway, that's the commercial break.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Questions? All right. I'm coming to you, Lori. I'm coming. We had a, before you ask that, Zoom asked, how are we gonna get these links? We will have all the downloaded material and will be sent back out the way that you all gave your contact on registration. Everybody on Zoom, I have all your emails, so you will get that directly to your email. All right, Lori.
Okay, so we need to know the name of Cousin Jim's book. What was the name of the book, Jim? We Are Each Other's Harvest. Okay, I'll put that in the chat. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, yes, Mr. James.
I just wanted to mention that a lot of people think the past is the history, but we're also within history right now, and we're making history right now, and the future is also history. And so with history also comes knowledge. And I thought that I should share this piece of information that just kind of came to me. So the first recorded slave coming to the US in Virginia was 1619. The Emancipation Proclamation was January 1st, 1863. That was 244 years. The Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th, 1776. It is now 2022. That is only 246 years. So we are right now in the seeds of history and change. And I just want everyone to understand that we are going to decide the future, and that, we have to understand our past and we have to know history so that we can make the change that needs to happen in the future. So just because things are in the past doesn't mean that they're so far in the past that they're not still relevant to us, and things are still happening.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? I don't want to miss anybody. These conversations have been amazing, and I do hope. Want to shout out. I don't know if you all have seen farmers going into the back rooms. Our new staff member, Vaughn Barnes, that was walking around. He is doing a podcast series called The Blacker the Berry, and it is a CFA project, and he's taking some stories now, but ultimately we're going to be doing farm visits and having some pictures and things. The biggest thing that connects people to Cousin Jim and I and the history of our land is that we're documented. You can Google Blue Estates, you can Google Tiffany Belfield Elamine, and all our stories from everybody that's ever came out is there. And everybody asked me, there's so many of our sponsors and our partners, they're like, we want the stories. And I'm like, it's not as easy as just saying, tell me about your farm. What happened last year? It's not that easy. Like, I broke down telling y'all that story yesterday, and it's a story that I've told a lot, but it's different with different people. It was very spiritual, very magical yesterday. So another big part of supporting us is telling each other our stories, connecting people to capture storytelling. So I'm going to semi-wrap this up, but continue, like I said, to have conversations with one another. And I've been waiting to tell this quote because I feel like I want to have it tattooed. As you all know that Queen Mother, beautiful elder spirit, Bell Hooks passed away. And we all as women had the conversation, did she get her flowers? And I want to say that you all have given Ashley and our flowers this weekend. And thank you, because it shows that the work we're doing is not only impactful, but y'all are listening. So I want to leave you all with a quote of Bell's, because at the end of the day, love is our religion. All right. Love is what brought y'all here. Else love for each other, love for family, love for agriculture, love for soil. But love brought us here. My husband and I always say when people ask us what faith we follow, we say love. And because of love, will make you be committed, just like when you love your partner, you love your sister, your brother. That's the root of support. That's the next steps, is reminding ourselves that how much we love the stuff that we're doing. So I'm going to leave you guys with this quote, Bell Hooks. Love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. Living simply makes loving simple. To love well is the task of all meaningful relationships, not just romantic bonds. Knowing how to be solitary is the central of the art of loving. Thank you all for coming this weekend. I'm gonna have Ashley say a couple of words as well, and I will be connecting with you all.
Awesome. Thanks again for being here. I know we've got some special guests. We'd like to hear from them here in a second. But again, if you have any questions, ready to take your next step, please visit the sign up table, connect with our folks from Community Farm Alliance. We do have some goods available from Black Soil and our partner vendors available for purchase today. I'd love to give a huge shout out to some additional vendors who have been with us over the weekend, capturing our incredible event and moments that we'll be able to share out with you through a photo gallery is Amani with Honey Sage Photo. Thank you. That awesome group shot, keeping our audio and visual, our sound on track and ready to go. Chris and the team from Lexington Sound Distribution. So we want to say thanks so much to our vendor there. We will utilize the content from this weekend. So it's been recorded, it'll be replayed, chop, slice, dice, all the ways. And so in order to do that, we brought on Damian Donaldson and his crew. And we want to say thanks so much for helping us continue letting folks on the virtual and the Zoom experience as well. So does anyone have any questions before we kind of turn it over to organic networking and community building? I know, did you want to introduce your parents? Okay. You want to tell us a little about your family farm?
So this is Lawrence and Judy Jenkins. They're my parents. Lawrence is the oldest son of the Jenkins family out in Georgetown, the one I said that we're trying to keep the farm from having to be sold out, if we can find venues, and this young gentleman might be able to help too. So they made a special effort to come up. They aren't able to do as much as they would prefer to do with the farming, but they've been around the SOG. They've done organic farming all their life. Sometimes being poor and not being able to afford chemicals does have its place in life. But unfortunately, they're older. They've had some very serious health issues, but they did want to come up today and support. And if you all have questions, please feel free to ask them. They're a plethora of information, and they've been around KSU and Black farmers for all their lives. So that's mom and dad.
Thank you so much. And to capture this moment, we're going to invite our audience for you to come over on this wall here. Our photographer will take a group photo for today, so we can just continue lamenting and celebrating this. So you'd like for us to come now and take that group photo, Amani? Yes, okay. So if you're able, if you need any assistance, please let us know. We'll be happy to help you out there. If you can make your way on over here. Thanks, Mike. Kentucky Greens in the building now. Come on in, y'all. If you're able, come on over and let's take a picture real quick. We're gonna take a quick picture. Damien, yes. So if you're on Zoom, show your face on the camera. We can then put a gallery view and we're going to take a group picture. Damien will take it for us. Okay, sounds great. So turn those cameras on, virtual folks. Turn your cameras on. Come on, John, get in the picture. Awesome. Thank you all so much. All right, let's. Tall people in the back, short people in the front. Let's scoot in.
Zoom, we're getting the photo live. Can we get our Zoom group photo? Turn your cameras on.
So we are officially concluded with our formal program. Feel free to network, meet folks. Thank you. We will clean the room as we move through completion of today's event. Did you need a microphone? Oh,